6 years and 500 episodes later, here we are, and we are going to dive into what we learned over this period of time.
On top of what we learned, we are going to share what we've seen from our listeners after 500 episodes and what they have loved the most.
Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
What is happening, Evolvers? Happy 500. This is so exciting. This is Emilia, and this is our 500th episode. We are shook, we are excited, and we are in all the feels, and we're so grateful that you're joining us for another episode because this has, let me tell you, has been quite the trek. And so, Bianca, let's talk about that. You had said just before we got into this episode that we should have a cordial conversation about what doing 500 episodes has really taken, and I couldn't agree more. And I also said something that I think is really important to also mention, which is what it has given. Because this journey, at least from my perspective, the journey of recording every single week. So we'll kind of go into a little bit of backstory, but you and I have been the most consistent podcasters out of all podcasters that our production company, shout out to you, NLPS, has ever seen outside of them. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to help give everyone a little bit of context as to what it has been like for Bianca and I to show up on these mics. That means over 500 times, despite what has been happening in our worlds, despite what has been going on inside of us, despite the amount of crying we have gone through certain situations in our lives, despite the cognitive and emotional and spiritual overwhelm that this has, not just this, but like our journeys, our individual journeys has brought to us. And I just think that it is not only a tremendous feat that most people will never get to, but it's also been quite an impressive journey when I look back at 500 and realize that we've done this together. I mean, at least from my perspective, it's easy for me to do things very consistently. And Bianca, you have been the only person that has been able to, for lack of better words, not only keep up, but like still bring a positive attitude, even on the days when it's been super hard. And I got a little emotional in the most beautiful way in one of our former episodes. And just, I come back to this feeling of gratitude because it's one thing for me. So just for a little context for the listeners, when I asked Bianca to join this journey, I told her she has no idea what it's going to take. And she and I both have a visual going through our heads, no doubt.
Oh my. Oh my.
And to this day, it's been, we laugh because we met, in a Muay Thai gym, Bianca just taking punches to the chin and being like,
I got my ass handed to me.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it's been like, true or false, when it comes to like this. It's like constantly ass handing and just like showing up and getting better, and who we've become, most importantly, and the souls that we've impacted, and the amazing community, the amazing Evolve community that's come into our lives. I just hold tremendous amount of gratitude because, again, what it has taken pales in comparison, at least for me, to what it has given me, which has been so much purpose, so much meaning, and so much contemplation. So talk to me on your end. What's that feeling?
It's interesting because in that last episode, we were kind of talking about the fact that like you were destined for this. Like you popped out the womb with a mission and a vision in mind. And
I don't know about that, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my mom on that one. She did say it makes sense why I have a podcast, because they used to call me Big Mouth. She just yapping all the time. Anyhow.
Oh, shit. From what I understand of you and from what I've had the, just absolute pleasure and like honor of getting to know about you over the last 7 years of being friends, 6 years. Yeah, 6 years of doing this podcast and this mission together. You were always someone who, like, you were meant for great things. It's just who you were. It's in your blood. It's everything about you. And when I met you, I think that's what I was so drawn to, because I wasn't that at all. I don't know. I don't know if it was nature or nurture for me, or maybe a combination of both, but like, when I met you, I was not someone who had it in mind that my life is going to be this extraordinary thing and I'm going to impact, at this point, thousands and thousands of people all over the world. Like, I didn't think that at all. I thought that my life was worthless and meaningless and that I was just going to be sad and depressed my whole life. And so reflecting back on the last 7 years of us building this mission together, and 6 of it being public facing, it's just been, I've said this before, but like, I wasn't supposed to be here. Like, my destiny, if it had followed the track that it would have had I not met you and had I not met Alan, my life would be wildly different. It would be tragic. Yeah. My life would have been tragic. And I don't say that in any exaggeration. Like, I'm actually downplaying it. I had a terrible track ahead of me. And so meeting you and starting this mission, it sincerely changed the course of my life, and it changed the trajectory of my life, and it changed like everything about me and what was possible for me. And this mission has made me such a better person. And for that, I'm always gonna be so grateful, and grateful for you for seeing this broken little girl 7 years ago and being like, there's something more about her. And I don't know what you saw. I don't know why, but like, I'm just so glad you did. And what we've been able to do from that point, and what I've had to evolve through over the last 7 years has been, I said this to Alan the other day, I'd rather someone beat the shit out of me than have to do some of the stuff that we've done. It's brutal. I'd rather get my ass handed to me than like have to deal with some of the stuff. But like, I wouldn't change it. I would, like, what we're able to do and what we're going to be able to do in this world is just, it's really something special. It is really extraordinary. And I don't know, like, thinking back over the last 7 years, it's just been, I'm getting so emotional thinking about it. It's just the laughs and the cries and the change and the progress and the fallbacks. And
yeah,
it's so hard when you're in the middle of it, because it just feels, to use your grandmother's metaphor, it's just a shit sandwich that you gotta eat every freaking day. And I think the most beautiful thing has been lately, it's been more of, not I have to do this, but like, I am so privileged that I get to do this. I get to eat this shit sandwich every freaking day, because it is a choice. Yeah. And my life never was a choice, but now it is. And so just reflecting on episodes that I want to burn from existence and have nobody ever listen to what we've been able to do one-on-one with clients and group coaching and this community that we've developed and these people who we've impacted. It's just, when you're in the midst of it, it is so unbelievably hard. And it feels like, I sent you a message. It feels like you're Sisyphus rolling this boulder up the hill and it's like, this is never going to end. Oh my God. But like when you pause and you take a second and you look back, it's like, oh my God, look at how far we've come. Look at everything that we got to pass up the mountain. And it's been horrible and amazing at the same time. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just been the beautiful blend of chaos. It's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to add kind of a triangulation there. So it's a beautiful blend of two other C's, maybe more than that. Chaos, courage, creativity, and curiosity. So 4. And I'll add a 5th, the challenge to remain centered. That's 2 more, I guess. But the challenge truly to remain centered throughout all of this. And it's been fascinating for sure. I guess one of the biggest things when I reflect and one of the biggest learnings from 500 episodes, not just on that aspect of chaos and courage and creativity and curiosity, of how, for me at least, I've learned that there are so many people that want to get better in the journey of life and really want to tell themselves that narrative. And yet their nervous systems are not at all willing to get better. And that's been one of the hardest lessons that I've learned in the last 500 episodes, because it hasn't just been about jumping on the mics here, Bianca. You and I both know that. It's been we are actually a podcast that has a flourishing organization where the podcast is a part of what we do. And in some ways, I tolerate this podcast because I love that one-on-one work that I do so much better than I do showing up on a mic in front of people talking about things that I wish I could just talk to them one-on-one on. You know, we've joked about, and anyone who's been on this journey, I'm so much better on the one-on-one than I am on the one-to-many in terms of being able to have things land, because I'm such a one-on-one type individual. But to that end, the nervous system that I've had to learn about, and this journey has required the one-on-one clinical work that we've done as practitioners with individuals, and how much that has experienced in communities as behavioral cycles on the bigger scale of people, not just in the evolved community, but as people who are coming to evolve as looking for guidance and looking for treatment and looking for help, and how much we might feel so deeply alone in whatever our struggle is or challenge is, and yet not at all. Because when we go from that one-on-one work, then we go into talking about, to some degree, that pattern on the mics, and then you and I's journey get, very much there's mirror moments throughout the work that we do all the time. These podcasts will churn the wheels of creativity because we make sure that any of the science that we bring forth here is rooted in data, is rooted in science, it is rooted in anything that is not just fly the seat by your pants, right? We put a lot of time and effort and even discipline, making sure that not only we show up on these mics, not just as talking heads who want to pretend that we know everything, pretend that we know what it takes, pretend that we have credentials, like none of that. Like, we will never open up our mouths unless we have a deep understanding of something. And so that whole journey has brought this bigger lesson of, number one, we deeply as human beings want to get better. And number two, the flip side paradox of that is that our nervous systems sometimes will never allow that to happen. And that transmits through the belief systems that we have, the words that we choose, our behaviors, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess that's the biggest lesson so far from 500 episodes, because this has taken a whole feedback loop of what we believe the world desperately needs, what the listeners want, and what is our unique niche testament to the blend of those things.
What have you learned on the personal, like about yourself? What has this journey been like for you as a person?
For me, I've learned that I have a tremendous amount of, I don't even think grit comes close to the word. I had put that down. We've been talking about it as of late in the concept of sisu, but this personal journey, to be fair, 500 episodes is amazing. But I would be lying if I didn't acknowledge the fact that I have to literally slow myself. That is just this freight train of moving forward and building towards the mission that we're headed, where it's like I have to like picture like the a freight train and the conductor and this person like next to it, where the brake of the train, they're like holding on just to have the train slow down. So like for me as a personal journey, I didn't realize how much I was a force to be reckoned with and how much conviction I have in pursuit of that which I know is possible and that which I will ensure becomes a possibility for not just us, but for everyone that wants to join the Evolve train. And that level of conviction, grit doesn't even come close to describing that. Sisu doesn't even come close to describing that. And I never realized how much of a, I'll say obsessive, but that like the convicted obsessive individual, whatever it takes.
Why does that matter to you?
Hold on, one thing I want to say, without going outside of integrity. Two things, the freight train plus the integrity. I did not realize how high integrity I have in comparison to everyone. That's been heartbreaking. And on top of that, how much my values ensure that I am the most virtuous woman that I could ever be. And that's also been really heartbreaking because I thought virtue was something, and I'm not talking just this like fluffy virtue. I'm talking truly a value-centric, wanting and doing everything in your power to make this world a better place. Like, and having every thought process that you have be in alignment to that at every waking second. And what is equally as heartbreaking is what I know is my purpose in this world. And I just want to make sure that I put that in there because that's been a personal trek for sure as I persevere through insane adversities. That's most women in their late 20s would never wish upon themselves. Not to mention women, but like anyone, period.
Why does that matter? So like 500 episodes, I know you're thinking this and you probably wouldn't say it, so I'm going to call you out super quick, but like you don't give a shit about 500 episodes. You're like, okay, what's the next 500? What's the next 1500? What's the next 5,000? You know, like I know that's where I get to know that that's where your mind is because to the degree that I can, I know what this means to you. Like I know why this matters so much to you and why you do this. But like for those who might not, why does that matter? Why does being virtuous and integrous and being one of the most virtuous people on this earth, why does that matter to you? Why does this mission matter?
Mm-hmm. The best way I could describe it. So,
but like to you as a person, not just on the like macro.
100%. Yeah. And this comes from the heart for sure. It's not that I don't give a shit, although that's a very quick way to put it, because a part of me for sure doesn't give a shit. Like that
The
part
freight
of me
train
that's just
doesn't.
steaming. The freight train, yeah, she doesn't give a shit. But that's why I love parts so deeply, because the part of me that is like the part of me that loves going on adventures and hikes to go through the challenge, to then just sit at that top and look out at the beautiful view and to appreciate the trees and how they've grown and the ecosystem underneath my feet and the dirt and the soil and how much everything's so alive, like that, right? There's parts of me that are like, we need to do this, Emilia, that are like, freight train Emilia, please stop. We need to make sure that we know and we experience what it is that we're cultivating, we're contributing to, and ultimately that gives us life. And so I want to acknowledge that duality. And why does it matter? The best way that I can say from the heart from this standpoint is when we're young children, we grow up in this world like naked, afraid, don't know much, super naive. Not everyone has the same start at all. Not everyone has the same degree of privilege at all. And yet, depending on where you are, you have these parts of yourself that develop, and the way in which your brain works to try to make you believe that life is going to be okay and that there's inherent good in this world. And to simplify this, you grow up and you get slapped in the face with life that is brutal. You experience tremendous adversity. You go through traumatic experiences. You grow through that, and how you respond to that based on a lot of the things that we've talked about in this podcast, one of them being leadership and the people who are around you and want to see you not just succeed, but feel safe in that success. Very few people have leaders, have people around them that don't just talk the talk. Very few people are not ever walking whatever they're telling you to do as a young child, as a teenager, as a young adult, whatever. And then you get into the time in your life when you're an adult and you start to look around and you start to realize, like, why have I been told to do so many things from my leadership, right? Whether it be your parents, whether it be your grandparents, whether it be the adults in the room, whether it be your teachers, whether it be your sports coaches, whether it be certain associations, whether it be specific career organizations and board of directors and you know, the people in your job, and then you go into policy and government and all these quote unquote officials that have all this power, and then you realize, like, wow, humans are incredibly selfish. Wow, they didn't give a damn about me and actually being a better version of myself. And so why does all this matter is because I now know that unless I'm choosing, for lack of better words, to clean up my own act, to clean up my own inadequacies or my own challenges, and aspire towards that and work every single day to be a more virtuous human being, to clean up and to do the recycling and to do all the things that are really important that help the world be a better place for those little kids to actually have some degree of a better future holistically. Like, that matters. And I don't have to have kids to know that and to make sure that I do everything in my power, because I know how interconnected my actions are with worlds away.
Hello, my name is Bree. So I would say my experience at Evolve has been absolutely amazing. I have learned and grown and done so many things that I didn't imagine that I'd be doing just over a year ago. So I'm really happy to be a part of the team, and I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to join. This is an experience that I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. So it's definitely unique, and there's so many like-minded people, whether it's on the team or in our community, that can be by your side and support you. So that is an awesome experience.
Yeah, but why do you care? Yeah, but why? Why do you care? Because it would have been, with everything that you've been through, which I know you don't share like a lot of your personals, and nor should you, right? Like that's your boundary to share what you feel comfortable with. But like,
Yeah.
from what I know, you've been through some really horrific things. It would have been so easy for you to take the intelligences that you have and your competencies and capabilities and take everything that happened to you and say, F the world, F everybody who like did harm to me. The government is terrible. These leaders are all awful. Like, you know, they want to just burn the world for their own greed and power. Like, F all of it. I'm going to do me. I'm going to make sure that me and my kids are great and everyone else can get bent, which is unfortunately like the mindset that so many people have. It might not be to that level, but a lot of people have that mindset of, I can't do anything. This world is terrible, so I'm going to make the most of it for myself. Why didn't you? Like, why does it matter that we show up here every single day and never miss, that you do these things, that you make sure that you're this leader that, you know, can do all of these really wonderful things? Like, why? Because you could have easily not. You probably should have not. So like, why didn't you?
It would be out of integrity. It would be out of integrity for me to do that because like I'm not a selfish person. I don't think selfishness is the solution to a brighter future. And if I'm choosing to be the point of an arrow and I have that fortitude and I have that strength, and I, even at times when I don't have that strength, I have the beautiful brain to be able to be creative, to build strength and to build resilience and to teach other people. Like, I adore human beings and I love nature and I appreciate so deeply animals, and all of that doesn't exist when human beings are selfish. I mean, we don't have to take out a science book to learn that. We can literally look around right now at how we seem to be the smartest species ever, and yet we've never had more extinct species, animals, plants, etc. So I come back down to being selfish is important, and yet in everything in proportionality. And so being the living, breathing example of that female leader, I think that there's been plenty of one gender at the head of the table and not leading by example. And I think the other side of the equation really does need to continue to lead, but not just lead in the shadows. And I think as a woman, I feel a deep responsibility to that interconnectedness of how selfishness in our human species actually takes down everything that we rely on to exist. And so the root of that selfishness and apathy, which is essentially what you're explaining, apathy and ignorance, is going to bring this world down. Like, we are already experiencing that. And I can't imagine trying to bring a child into the world where I haven't tried to do everything in my power, even when it was inconvenient and insignificant, including getting on these episodes and talking about meaningful, deeply important and profound, not just theories, but science that can change your life and have an impact on your entire family and their families and the epigenetics of the future. I can't imagine a world where I have a little girl, a little boy, or a little thing looking back up at me and trying to feed them the same horseshit narrative that everything's going to be okay, when I have been a lazy prick my whole life and expecting that things are going to work out. Like, that's not how meaningful change happens. You can't just expect that. And you can't remain apathetic and ignorant to the solutions that are so obviously there, but require consistency, fortitude, discipline, love, strength, courage, humility, creativity. All of that is a part of the equation. And virtue, I think that's just the magic fairy dust that makes it all deeply worth it, because I know who I am and I love who I am, and I like how what we do has that undoubtable impact ripple effect. And there's a little part of me that's like, yeah, we crushed it. We're crushing it. But it's not about that. It's about what the ripple effect of that, what's possible. And I'm going to quote a Free Willy film right now. Things can happen. And things can happen when you have the courage to make one small difference every single day. And I think of all the men and women, specifically women, whose shoulders that my work, my fortitude, my strength, my virtue, my choices stand on. And it's like Jane Goodall, right? Like, my goodness, if it weren't for those women and those courageous souls and their support system that showed up every single day, even when it was hard, even when it was like, really? We're going to talk about that? It's like, it's not about us. It's really not. It's about the bigger picture. So that's why. What about
is
you,
your
Bianca?
intention? What's your intention for the next 500?
My intention for the next 500 is to double down on the primary focus, which is mental health. We have done a tremendous job kind of doing a great spread in our podcasts around, there's an area in our podcast where we have different subsectors. That is it intimate relationships that we want to bring mental health into? Is it neuroscience that we want to bring mental health into? Is it culture and family? And I've really appreciated how much that spread has had a level of biodiversity within it, if you will, or diversity, and making sure that we have had our evolve flair into that. And so for the next 500, my intention, my hope is to double down on mental health, is to double down on the environmental impacts. Environments is something that I really am excited to bring a little bit more forth into the conversation, because our environments directly impact us. I deeply intend for you and I to get better as speakers. Always. That's a nonstop, forever. My intention is to make sure that the production team that helps support these episodes get better, to make sure that we deliver value, not just things that will grab your attention and be a part of what will be a huge problem in the next 500 episodes, which is not just AI sludge, but far more beyond that. Mm-hmm. And my intention is to get more raw, get more real, and provide more tactical applications for the Evolve listeners that really do want to kind of bring this whole thing together, that do want to get better, and whose nervous systems are ready to get better. Because in the next 500 episodes, the trains that we're building at the actual organizational level now, in 500 episodes, they will have grown to very fruitful gardens for anyone that's joining this community, and anyone that has the courage enough to join the Evolve train. And so I won't say any more on that. Obviously, we want to keep some of that tight before it comes into full fruition, but that's the general intention that I can give. So now, ma'am, I would like to hear the same questions given to you, because you have been by my side with this for the first 500 episodes. And we had, and I'm just going to give your brain some juice. Last Thursday, when we were recording this episode, it was what we called the Y Power Podcast birthday, right? So March 12th, 2020 was when, so Evolve Ventures, for any new listeners, is what was at one point the Y Power Podcast, the original podcast name that Bianca and I started with. So March 12th, 2020, we officially announced the starting of the Y Power Podcast. This was when we were in Bianca's parents' kitchen house at that time. We had done a whole mastermind at her college that she had gone to. Like, it's so much fun. So there was that. Then in April 18th, 2020, we finally got the logo going. And on the 4th of June, we launched our first episode together. And I'm reading this off of the birthday that we have. We had our first Out of the Mud on March 26th, 2022. In 2022, we actually rebranded to Evolve Ventures, what we now know. And then from there, things kind of took off. And then it was September 5th, 2022 to where we began 2 episodes a week. Prior to that, we had been doing 1 episode a week. So what this has grown to, why has this been meaningful, and why have you showed up on the mic every single time without miss?
Like I said in the beginning, I'm not a visionary. I'm not a natural born leader. If my life had followed the trajectory that it would have had I not met you, I never would have been here. Like this isn't what my life was quote unquote supposed to be based on where I was and where I was headed and the things that I had gone through and endured. And over the last 6 years, I've developed more vision. I've developed more creativity. I've developed more leadership skills and all of these things. But like, I didn't start this for that. I started this honestly because I was following you.
Yeah.
And it's evolved from that over the years. Not that much, but like
Got to keep the main thing, you know.
You got to keep the main thing, the main thing. The main thing is Emilia. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. Anyways.
Oh, shoot.
For me, and this might sound like a really selfish answer, but like it is my truth. Like a really big part of this is me showing myself who I'm capable of becoming. Me evolving past like seeing what my potential is, seeing what I can be and who I can become and the impact that I can make in this world. And there's no better place to be able to do that because I sincerely believe Evolve has one of the greatest missions on this earth. And to get to be a part of that is such a privilege. It really is. Like, that's why I do this, that's why I show up, to get to earn the right to do this with you every single day, to get to become the kind of woman that can be your number 2 and can be by your side and like gets to, and doing everything I can to make sure that I am consistently the best choice, because what we are going to do is extraordinary. And there's no other place for me than here.
Thank you. So what do you intend for the next 500 episodes? And if you could give one thing that you've learned from the 500.
My intention, like I said, is to keep earning the right to be here every day. To keep earning it, honestly. And what that's going to require of me and who I'm going to have to become in order to do that, and the impact that we're going to have as a byproduct of that, like it's really going to be amazing. And what I've learned over the first 500, I mean, wow. So many things. Honestly, hands down, the biggest one is how much your beliefs shape your entire life. What your upbringing does to you, and what your life becomes as a byproduct, and how much your beliefs really, really shape everything. The difference between me now and me 6 years ago is my beliefs are wildly different, and that allows me to do different things and show up differently and be a better person.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. To that end, what do you think? I want us both kind of contemplating this, but what do you think? And if you've been with us for all 500 episodes, we want to know. Please comment down below, or
Please
tag us in a post so that we know that you've been with us for the last 500 episodes, because that's saying something about you. And you are a specimen to be honored, to be celebrated, to be studied. And to that degree, I am very curious on the topic of beliefs, because, I mean, Alan and I were having a conversation about beliefs this morning at our dinner table, and just how much I was telling him, I am so convicted. It is wild how the belief systems that we have, and if we're not evolving those along the way and developing the mechanisms, the mechanistic support biologically to help our system integrate those beliefs as they evolve, like people are just gonna struggle a lot. And so I couldn't be more with you on that. The beliefs, my goodness, are absolutely everything, which is why we've done so much of what we've done, because we've helped so many people evolve beyond their current limiting beliefs. Breaking one limiting belief at a time has been so truly the through line of these podcasts. So Bianca, first thing that comes to mind, what is if someone has been with us for the 500 episodes, what do you think has been the biggest belief that they've had to evolve while staying with this podcast?
you are not the story that you've convinced yourself of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've had to evolve what they currently believe they are capable of in order yeah.
Like, they've had to evolve their beliefs about themselves, others, and the world.
Right.
That's why we talk about so many different topics that don't seem mental health related, and yet they are. Like, everything is mental health. Everything is the brain. Everything is neurons. Like, it's all connected.
Yep. Yeah. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in the next 500 episodes for our listeners, and then for us personally?
This world is changing at a really insane and scary rate. And I think people are not, you've said this in previous episodes, people are not prepared for what's about to come. People are not prepared for the world that we are heading into. And I think the biggest challenge for us is going to be helping people find their strong ground in that. Find their standing, find their bearing, find truth through all the chaos and madness and bullshit that's about to come over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Fair.
Like Evolve is going to be that safe space for people. And that is our challenge, like making sure that we become that and then showing people that, because it's so easy to fall into the chaos. It's going to be so easy to fall into everything that's put out there on social media and in the world in general. And to be able to see truth throughout all of that is going to feel almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And our job is going to be to cut through that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think one of the biggest challenges is actually going to be doing the work that's necessary, because it's going to be increasingly, like if you've ever seen the movie WALL-E, that is it's not an entertaining film. It's a alarming film. It's an alarmist type film where as things get quote unquote easier and more convenient, we as humans, because our brain is trying to maintain this homeostatic experience. In other words, not doing the hard things. We're losing the abilities and the skills and the capabilities of overcoming that quick fix, of overcoming that siren that is convenience. And what we lose as a result of not cultivating the skill sets of delayed gratification and cultivating resilience when challenging times do come, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, because it's going to be an increasing rate of convenience, of ease, of one clicks to whatever. There already is, but now increase that by at least 10 times. And there's going to be a decreasing in our brains desire to actually do the thing that has pain or challenge or rejection or hard affiliated with it, because our nervous systems we're not doing the manicuring, we're not doing the things, the actual skill development, the actual habits, the actual behaviors or techniques that are so easy to do after you're done doing it. You're like, oh, that wasn't that hard. No, but it's every single day. Are you practicing the skills? Are you getting yourself into the arena? Are you putting yourself in the ring? That makes sure that whenever you need those skills, they're there. So I think that that's going to be one of the biggest challenges. And then for us, I think that it's going to be kind of that paradox, at least from my perspective. The amount that I've learned through the last 500 episodes, I thought I knew so much, and now I it's the paradox. You think it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. The more that you know, the more you realize you don't know, and then trying to communicate that which you do know for certain. I think that anyone that's going through a journey like that, I think that communicating what you do know in a way that has conviction and certainty in it, with that little asterisk of, I know that I don't know everything. I think that that's going to be one of the personal challenges that we're going to struggle through as we learn more and as science hits rates that were never before possible with the influx of technology. So I'm excited for it. I look forward to it. Bring on the hard, she says. And I'm super grateful that this community has grown and continues to grow. And I'm super grateful that you're right by my side, Bianca. And this has been a meaningful trek for the both of us, and that it's impacted so many people. So if, let's say, for example, you've been with us for the last 500 years, you know what to do. Or 500 years, 500 episodes. Years. I'll be saying that in a couple. Who knows? Right. If you've been with us for 500 episodes, please do let us know. We have a special thank you for you. If you've been with us at all, we want to hear what episodes have resonated the most with you, what's changed your life. I have this folder called my why folder, where I take screenshots. I have voice memos. I have pictures, things where people have said, this work has changed my life, or it's impacted me in X way. And I selfishly want to add the impact in there, because that's, again, goes back when it's really hard. I go back to, why am I doing this? And it's the souls that I see in that folder that remind me when I struggle to remind myself. So to that end, Evolver, so much more to come. I hope you enjoyed this episode. My episode suggestion in closing is 486, the difference between self-worth and self-belief. Bianca?
Mine is 499, the real reason people give up on their dreams, part 2. If you are currently living in the state of Massachusetts and you have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, we are now accepting insurance at Evolve Therapy. So if you are looking for a therapist, we are actively taking clients. If you have Blue Cross, if you do not have insurance, that's okay. We have a multitude of different options for you to get that support, to get that love, to have your own Evolve journey. So we hope that you join us, and thank you for being with us on this journey.
Seriously. As I look at the date too, when this episode comes out, we will have our Evolve Movie Club, which has been an incredible space for Evolvers to get together, the upcoming Monday. So join us, send us a DM, Evolve Movie Club, and we will get you hooked up to get the link for that meeting. Otherwise, as always and forever, thank you, dear listener, for your interest in the science of holistic mental health and well-being. We deeply appreciate your listenership and you evolving with us. So keep evolving, and we're right here with you.
Bye, everybody.